Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Rishabh Jain and in today's lecture we are going to learn about real and money interest rates. Today's topic forms the basics of what you can call the financial literacy that everyone should know. In this chapter, the concept that we are going to learn will be used in later chapters. This is an introductory chapter and there are not much questions to practice at the end of the chapter 2. Before moving forward, we will first discuss the following two topics. The first is purchasing power, and the second topic is inflation. At the end of this video, we will also learn about a topic that is called deflation, but since it is a type of a negative inflation, so we will cover the topic in the second point. To understand the concept of purchasing power, let's hear this amazing story of Thor, the god of thunder. So when Thanos destroys the half of the earth, lives of people on half of the earth, Thor has lost the will to fight the evil and he leaves everything for solitude. Now his life is only about drink and chill. So he goes out to the market with a 100 rupee note in his hand, only to find out that the cost of his favorite drink, Coca-Cola, has risen to rupees 40 a bottle. And he can only buy 2.5 bottles. I am assuming that the bottles can be divided in that way. So the price of the Coca-Cola bottle is rupees 40. Frustrated with that, Thor decides to travel back in time and creates its Fortress of Solitude in 1995, where he could buy Coca-Cola at just 10 rupees a bottle. So the price of Coca-Cola in 1995, suppose this is year 20, this is year 1995. So Thor is very clever. Since his motive in life is now to just chill, so he goes back in time where he could buy Coca-Cola at just 10 rupees a bottle. So from this story we see that the same amount of money, that is 100 rupees, Thor could only buy 2.5 bottles in present time. So we see that since Thor is having 100 rupees with him, in year 2020, Thor can buy only 2.5 bottles of Coca-Cola. But in year 1995, Thor can buy 10 similar bottles, since the price was only 10 rupees a bottle. So with the same amount of money, that is 100 rupees, Thor is able to buy 10 bottles in 1995. So the same 100 rupee note was more powerful in 1995 because Thor could get 10 bottles, or Thor could get more bottles in year 1995 than he could buy in year 2020. So we see that the purchasing power refers to the goods that a given amount of money can buy. So in this example that we have, I am writing the purchasing power as PP. So purchasing power of money, that is the 100 rupee note in year 2020 is just 2.5. But purchasing power of that same similar 100 rupee note in year 1995 was 10. Now we can understand this concept by another example. Suppose you take a 2000 rupee note right now and you put it in a locker safe inside your house. After 10 years, the price, or you can say you will find a similar 2000 rupees note in your locker. Assuming that the demonetization 2.0 has not occurred by then. So when you use that 2000 rupees note after 10 years, suppose, you will not be able to buy those things that you can buy, or you can say you will not be able to buy as many things as you can buy right now with that 2000 rupees note. So we see when we keep money in hard cash, or when we see the value of money, it keeps on decreasing with time, or you can say the power of that same money is decreasing due to the factors that are affecting the price of the goods to rise. So this capacity of the power to buy things is called the purchasing power of that money. Now we move ahead and see what inflation means. As we all know, inflation is the measure of the increase in the cost of goods or services. So in year 1995, the bottle of Coca-Cola was only 10 rupees, and year 2020, the price of the same bottle is 40. So the difference of this 30 rupees is due to the factor of due to many factors that was working on that Coca-Cola bottle. So this is the inflation. The term for inflation is just tells us how much the price of a particular good has risen in that period of time. So the price of the bottle has risen due to the inflation. Another example to see inflation could be petrol prices. Suppose the prices of petrol at the start of the year is 75. Suppose here at the start of the year, the price of the petrol is 75 per liter. And at the end of the year, the prices of the petrol are 85 rupees per liter. Suppose this is the end of the year. So the 10 rupees difference in the price is due to the inflation. Suppose we want to calculate the rate of the inflation in this example. The rate of the inflation is denoted by J, so we can get J as follows. We can write it as 1 plus J is equals to the rise in that prices, which can be calculated as 85 upon 75, because 75 was our initial price and 85 was our resultant price at the time 1. So this factor 1.1333 is a kind of an accumulation factor that is working as an inflation rate. So we are inflating the 75 rupees by this factor 1.133. So from here we see that the rate of inflation will be, we can calculate J equal to 13.33%. Suppose at the start of the year you had 1000 rupees. With this money you could buy at the start of the year, since you have 1000 rupees with you and the price of the petrol per liter is just 75, so you can buy a total of 13.33 liters of petrol. Similarly, the quantity that you can buy at the end of the year will be, I will write it as quantity at the end of the year. This quantity will be, so with the same 1000 rupees amount, at the end of the year I am only able to buy this much of petrol, that is 11.764 liters of petrol. So the purchasing power of the 1,000 rupees is decreased in 1 year time. Since I could buy more petrol at the start of the year with the same money and can buy only less petrol with the same amount of money, So we say that the purchasing power of the money has decreased. Suppose we want to know the worth of the 1000 rupees at the start of the year, that is, we want to know how much this 1000 is worth at the start of the year. What I am telling you is that I have 1000 rupees at time 1. I want to know the worth of this 1000 rupees in terms of time 0. So I want to know the worth of this 1000 rupees at time 0, or you can say I want to find the worth of this 1000 rupees at the start of the year. So to calculate that, I know that I can buy at time 1 I can buy only 11.764 liters of petrol, and at time 0 I could buy 13.333 liters of petrol. With this 1000 rupees at the end, I can buy 11.764 liters of petrol. So to find the worth of this 1000 rupees at the start of the year, I will calculate that much amount of money that I would need to buy this much of petrol at the start of the year. So in the beginning of the year, to buy 11.764 liters of petrol, I would need this much of money, because the price at the start of the year is just 75. So my amount will come out to be 882.352. Or we can directly calculate this amount as 1000 rupees upon 1.1333, that was our accumulated with the rate of inflation. So I am deflating this amount at the start of the year. I will get the similar amount of 882.352. So this 882.352 amount at the start of the year is worth same as the 1000 rupees at the end of the year, because we can buy only 11.76 liters of petrol with this money. Let me just draw it for you. At time 0, at time 1. So the amount 1000 here at time 1 is equivalent, or you can say is worth exactly same as 882 at time 0, because with both the amount I can buy only 11.764 liters of petrol. So this is the concept of purchasing power. In this phase we see the purchasing power of both the amount is same. We do these type of things to know this purchasing power, and inflation is one of the most important factors that we calculate or we earn interest rates, because as we move in time in the future, we would want our capacity to buy things same, and also we would want to earn money, or we will want to buy money on the amount that we have lent to other person. Suppose I am lending someone at time 0 100 rupees for 1 year. So at time 1 I would want a sum of 100 rupees plus some income, plus some income, because I have given the facility of lending the money to that person. So I would want a sum of 100 rupees plus interest. No, I would want one more thing. I would want that the capacity or the purchasing power of this 100 should remain same. First I will calculate the amount of interest or the amount of money that I want to earn. Then I will calculate that the purchasing power of this 100 should remain same, because if the purchasing power of this 100 is decreasing, then this amount of interest that I am earning will become less at the end of the year. I will clear this topic more when we see another example. Suppose, for example, is as follows. Suppose you invest in an account 1 lakh rupees at 10% per annum effective rate. you invested 1 lakh rupees here, so you will get 1,10,000 at the end of the year. Suppose the inflation was 2% in this year. So at the end of the year, this 1,10,000 rupees amount you have earned is actually not equal to 1,10,000 in terms of purchasing power, but less than that because of the inflation of 2%. So your purchasing power has reduced. So now I will calculate the actual amount that is worth equal to this amount. So by the end of the year, you actually have, since the inflation was 2%, 1,07,843.137. So this amount 1,10,000 at the end of the year is equivalent to this amount in terms of purchasing power due to the inflation. So this is the real amount that you actually have earned in this year. From here we will learn two concepts and two types of rate. This 10% rate that you earned, this 10% rate, you invested 1 lakh rupees and you got 1,10,000 rupees at the end of the year in monetary terms. So in monetary terms means you invested 1 lakh and you got 1,10,000. So the money in monetary terms you get 1,10,000. So you calculated the rate and it was 10%. So you earned 10% in monetary terms. Now we'll calculate in real terms. In real terms means how much we have actually earned considering the effect of inflation. To calculate that rate, we will move as follows. Since this 1,07,843 is the real amount that we have earned, and this amount contains the effect of inflation, we denote real interest rate as I dash. So for now we'll denote this rate as I dash to not get confused with normal I. So our scenario looks like something this. At time 0 I invested this much money, and at time 1 I have, in cash I have 1,10,000, but I am calculating this rate to know how much I really have earned, because in cash I am having 1,00,000, but that 1,10,000 is only worth this much money. This much money in terms of time 0, because I invested my money at time 0. So to calculate this rate, I will suppose write this amount as A1. Since A1 denotes the time accumulated money at time 1, I will denote this money as A star 1, because this is a real money. And we know that the accumulated money at time 1 is nothing but 1 lakh into accumulation factor of time 1. And again this accumulation factor is A star. So I will get my accumulation factor as 1.07843. This implies that my I dash, because A star 01 is just 1 plus I equal to 1.07843, 1 plus I dash, 1 plus I dash equal to 1.07843. So we get I dash equals to 0.07843. We can also calculate this rate directly. We don't have to solve so much to get this rate. I did this just to explain you what's going on. To calculate this rate, we know that the interest rate was 10% per annum effective. Also, the inflation was 2%. That was also per annum effective because it was a one-time deduction, that is 2% was effective inflation rate. So to calculate the rate 1 plus I dash, I can say that in 1 year I have earned this 1 plus I dash, which will be equal to 1.1 upon 1.02. This amount will come out to be same. If you calculate the rate from this, your I dash will be 0.708843. Now we see graphically why this happens. This is time 0, this is time 1. You invested 1 here. You earned an interest rate of 10% per annum effective, and you should get 1.1, and you actually get 1.1 here. But since this 1.1 has lost its purchasing power due to the inflation of 10%, this is actually not worth 1.1 here. It's actually worth 1.1 upon 1.02 due to the inflation. This 1.1 will reduce now, and since 1.02 is positive and greater than 1, so by dividing 1.1 with this number, this will come to be 1.0784, whatever it was. So now we understand how inflation affects the interest rate and how can we calculate those rate. Sorry. Let's just see one more example. Suppose you want to buy a Jaguar Land Rover in 10 years time, and you want to set aside a sum of money right now in order to buy that car. The cost of that car right now is 60 lakhs. So the cost of the Jaguar right now is 60 lakhs. So the cost of Jaguar is 60 lakhs, and you want to invest a money at time 0 in order to get 60 lakh amount in 10 years time. And suppose you are earning at the rate of 12% per annum effective. We can calculate the present value of the 60 lakh at time 0. That will be the amount of money that you want to invest right now. So to calculate that money, 60 lakh into present factor of this, which is nothing but 1.12 to the power minus 10. So your amount will come out to be, you have to invest 19.31839 lakh now in order to get 60 lakh at time 10. So you get 60 lakh at the end of the 10th year from this account, but now the price of the Jaguar is suppose 20% higher. This will be a big problem for you since you didn't take into account the effect of inflation in this account. You get the 60 lakh amount since the inflation was 20%, so the purchasing power of the 60 lakh is reduced. So at time 0 you invested 19.318 something lakh of money, and you get 60 lakhs at time 10. So in monetary terms or in money money interest rate is our 0.12. This is our money interest rate because we are getting this much money at the end of the 10th year. But this is not a real interest rate because we didn't consider the inflation of 20% in these 10 years. Suppose inflation was inflation for this whole 10-year period was 20%. So in reality, I'll calculate how much we have earned in reality. So in real terms, you have actually earned, so this 60 lakh money at the end of 10th year is only worth as much as 50 lakh in terms of time one. So the purchasing power of 50 lakh at time 0 is equal to the 60 lakh purchasing power at time 10. So now we'll calculate the real interest rate or the real amount of money that we have earned in this setting. To calculate that, we will move as, since the money will remain same that I invested 318 something, and now we are calculating this amount in 50 lakh. We are just calculating this rate at amount of 50 lakh. We will get in cash, we will get 60 lakh rupees, but it is a different thing that that money will not be equal to or worth the same as that it should be. So from this, when we calculate the rate, I calculate my A star 0, 10. I want to calculate the accumulation factor of 10 years in real terms. So I will write it as A star 0 to 10, which will be nothing but 50 upon 19.318, whatever was the amount, and I will get 2.588207. So this 2.588207 is the accumulation factor of 10 years. To get the per year effective rate, I can calculate it as 1 plus I dash to the power 10 is equals to 2.2588207. And when I solve this, I will get I dash equal to 9.977%. So in monetary terms, I was earning 12%, but when I consider the 20% inflation rate of 10 years, in actual I am earning a rate of 9.977% only. This rate is reduced this is a reduced rate because of the effect of inflation. Now in the last topic, we consider deflation. So deflation is just the reverse of inflation, you can say, or you can say when inflation is negative. So in that case, what happens? The price of the goods, instead of rising, the price of good decreases with time. So suppose I invest an amount so I invest in an account that pays an interest of 12% per annum. I invest 0, this is my time 1, and I invest 1 rupees here. Now suppose the inflation or deflation rate is minus or negative 2%. My J is equals to negative 0.02. So what this means, a negative inflation rate means that instead of rising, the price of the good will fall with the time. So a thing which is cost at 100 rupees at time 0 will now be just 98 at the end of the year. This is everything remains same with deflation as in the case of inflation. The only thing is that we write it as a negative factor. So when I calculate the real money interest rate in this case, I will write it as 1 plus I dash. This rate will now be equal to 1.12, and since we earlier did 1 plus j, we will do it same, but now the 1 plus, since j is negative, my 1 plus j will be 0.98, that is 1 minus 0.02. This factor will be 1.14285. So my I dash is 0.14285 or 14.285%. So you see, in money terms you are only earning 12% interest, but in real terms you are actually earning an interest rate of 14.285% due to the effect of deflation, because things now cost less. You can buy more of those things, and you have the purchasing power of the money at the end of the year has increased. So this was the concept of deflation. You can also calculate the rate of deflation as follows. Suppose the price of the petrol at time 1 is 85 and at time 1 the price of the petrol is 75. To calculate how much deflation has occurred or the rate of deflation, you can calculate it as follows. So our 1 plus j will be, our initial price was 85 and the price at time 1 is this. So this factor will come out to be 0.88235. From here I can calculate my j to be minus 11.764%. So this completes our chapter 6. We will meet this chapter again in later chapters. Until then you can practice the question that has been given at the end of the exercises, and you must also read the chapter to get the idea once more. So thank you guys, thanks for watching.